case you don't know us, you're just twisting the dial away and managed to bump into us. This is ZIZ Radio from Adam St. Kitts.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Frank and Candid. I am Tony Nice and TGIF to all. All right. Let's go to what's happening around us. And just one thing to share with you this morning. And it's nice and appropriate because we talked about one day last week. One of our discussions was on how social media can, scare people into either doing something or scare you out of doing something, and fake news and all that, right? So let me share this official information coming from the University of the West Indies Seismic Research Center. There is no need for alarm at Mount Lyomega. There are no signs of an impending eruption. That's according to the director of the center, Dr. Joseph, who said that the social media video that made the rounds some time ago of a bubbling puddle was not out of the ordinary. What the video did show is people in the crater in the hot spring area and the bubbles. Lyomega is considered live, and that means it has the potential to erupt again in the future. Dr. Joseph said the activity that was seen at Mount Lyomega is normal and it is not unusual. It does not look any different to what was seen in the past in terms of how the future looks and the types of activities that are associated with these features that are in the crater. She said in the other volcanoes, such as in Dominica and St. Lucia, one will even see more effusive activities associated with their hot springs that could look a lot more active than what was seen in the video. She explained that what caused the activity in the crater. She said there is magma at the depth below the volcano. What happens is that it heats the rocks above. It is so hot. The rock is there, and then you have water coming in from the rain that filters through the cracks on the volcano, and it percolates down into the earth and is heated by the rocks. The magma itself also degasses. Together with that, hot water is heated up and boils. That comes up to the surface and is manifested as the hot springs vents. The feature is something that is seen in most volcanic systems and is not related to an eruption. All right? So, be calm. Be calm. All right. It is Friday, and as per usual, it is an open Friday. But before we go there, just want to take this opportunity, since I'm not here on the weekend, to say Happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there, and you others who are the children or the loved ones. Make sure you remember the mothers and show appreciation for the mothers this weekend. Remember, all mothers are not biological, and all biological are not mothers. So bear that in mind, because I myself have mother figures who did not bear me, and I'm sure many of you are in the same boat. All right? So do the right thing this weekend. Show some appreciation. You should all year long, but since they have this special day, at least do that and show some appreciation. Okay, it's Open Friday, and as it is Open Friday, the topic is yours, not mine. You decide what's on your mind, what you want to discuss, as long as it's clean, as long as it's legal, and no one get us in trouble. You're free to raise whatever topic you have on your mind. It may be a topic that you wanted to continue from one of the things we discussed during the week, or it may be something completely new, as usual. But let me just recap for you what we have discussed this week. Well, this week was a shorter week. Monday was a holiday, being May Day, Labor Day, Workers' Day, what have you. So we weren't here on Monday, but you're still free to talk about Workers' Day. It's okay. On Tuesday, we talked about bribery in politics and how we prove that and what is bribery. How do you prove, that politicians are bribing people? Have to bring evidence. Evidence is important, especially if you're going into a court. And it's tough to prove because, you have to talk about intent. You got to talk about intent. So that was Tuesday. On Wednesday, we looked at vaccine proof. That's coming. Vaccine passports. That may be coming soon. And then yesterday, we had our passionate discussion on Pan-Africanism. All right, so there you have it. Let's go to the phones and say good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Mr. Niall, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I am well. Sounds like you're happy it's Friday.
Okay, all right. Thank God for that.
Okay.
Mr. Niall,
Yes.
what we like to see,
Mm-hmm.
the whole Caribbean now need to get together and hold upon this free movement of people, so long, because to me, if you're going to a country now to visit, it's fine, but the free movement of people are going to think it. Now I think you bring a strain on the government.
Okay.
It's from and the whole Caribbean. If you're coming from America and you're going to spend a little vacation, it's fine. You're going back out, but the free movement of people now going to think it and holding up the place, looking for this and looking for that. Right now, everybody looking for themselves. So I would like to see the Caribbean come together and put a hold on this thing. Who in staying and who coming into free movement, let us stay out so long until things get better. So some of them, they don't want to take the vaccination. So they're going to put a hold on it so long, Mr. Naya. And people must stop putting fear in people to take the vaccination. If you're going to get an attack and you're going to say, oh, man telling nobody don't take it and man putting no fear in people. But if you're going to say, suppose when you take the vaccination, something happened to you, we're going to take care of children. That is putting fear in people.
Mm-hmm.
You're discouraging people from taking it. The Prime Minister has to do what he has to do. He has to encourage the people them to take the vaccination. That's his job. And the Premier Nevis. He has to do it. They're going to say they ain't going to take the vaccination. The body is them one. But you can't tell somebody how to run the business. If they don't want you're in there without taking the vaccination. You can't tell them, okay. They run the business. They employ them have to take the vaccination. So you can't go in people's place and feel like you want to run your life and you want to run people's business. It can't work so.
Mm-hmm.
So people go out and take the vaccination before it gets too late.
Okay.
One day I won't come and I have to pay for it. If you have child just born and the next 6 weeks they get the vaccination. If you have child going into college and graduating out of school, they have to take them vaccination first. The vaccination ain't doing nobody no harm. People mouth doing more harm to people than the vaccination now. So, Mr. Naya, have a blessed day.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
All right, back to the phones. Good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Naya.
Hey.
Yes, my topic is about tourism.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You hear now talk about diversifying,
Mm-hmm.
and the government must look for outside of tourism and do other things, look for other things. Yes, that could be this so, yes. But tourism could never be done away with.
Mm-hmm.
Even the great and big America and those countries, they one of the biggest earnings is from tourism, right? So it can't really be done away with. But what I think we should be doing is strengthening what we have. Strengthening try to look for other ways to advertise and the product that we have. And one of the ways I think is that you have a lot of Kitishans living in the USA, in England, Canada, and all over the world, right? I think you have been to the USA. I believe you were living there. If I'm wrong, you correct me.
Correct.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You would know, especially if you were living in New York. 10 stations, millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people go to Penn Station every day.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
One of the thing I think the tourism department or maybe the government on a whole should do is that you employ people for Kitishans and Nivisians who are living there, to do pamphlets or leaflets in the USA ain't cost much, So you get these different consulate or areas that we have there, and they do things, and then you employ people, you got people that you get. And they go around, while they're going downtown Manhattan, they're going into Brooklyn and different places and so. And they give out these pamphlets to people. They go on the train, because when you're in New York, you go on the train, you see different pamphlets and so on the train. People take them up, they read them, they leave, put it back down, or they go with them. You pass, you see the buses. No. You see the buses got on advertising stuff on it.
I actually have seen St. Kitts ads on taxis in New York, so I have seen it. Yeah.
Huh?
I actually have seen a St. Kitts ad on a taxi in New York. So
yeah, right. So but we need to get more of these. To me, this would be more effective than even the tourism workers them going to the US for maybe a 2 days or 3 days seminar or whatever it might be. Because how much people they're gonna reach by just going to a seminar? Yes, they might do some good, yes. But I believe you have all of these people in the different states who are living in the different states of the US doing it, and in England and Canada, it will be more effective because they're giving out pamphlets and leaflets to people, as they go around. That to me will be more effective than that you're just going up there for 3 days or 4 days seminar or whatever they would go to. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing again too, we have the Taiwanese are here. We have a relationship with Taiwan. I don't know how it is with China, but instead of having the Taiwanese or the Chinese coming here and involving in supermarkets and restaurants, and now it appears like they're going into the apartment buildings and so, like renting of apartments and even the hotel sector and stuff like that. Where to me, most of these stuff that they is involving in, these are not money coming in. They're not bringing in money. They're taking money from here and they're sending it out, because most of the product that they would use to maintain their supermarkets or the restaurants and stuff like that is stuff that they're bringing in. So the money really, they're not foreign exchange earnings or stuff like that. So I think that the government should be encouraging the Taiwanese to do is to build factories. Cell phone is one of the biggest things now in the world. You could in factory that make cell phones, air condition units, refrigerators, televisions, stuff like that. Or even brick making and them kind of stuff for houses and things. Instead of just having them going into supermarkets and restaurants, that is not, they're just getting the money from here and then probably they're sending it out. Do things that we could think, and then use the same Taiwanese to market what their factories are doing. They could send it back to Taiwan too, and then add to their product where they have up here that they send around the world, instead of just supermarket and restaurants and stuff like that. Enough of that. We have enough of that here. Leave that for the locals to do, you know, and then let the Taiwanese bring in factories and stuff of that nature. Thank you, Mr. Knight.
All right. Just to follow up on that, the Chinese are really involved in supermarkets and restaurants and apartments. The Taiwanese are more involved in infrastructure, as in the case of the Old Road Bay project that is going on. Taiwanese involved in that. All right, back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome. Good morning. Okay, lost that one. All right. Give us a call, your topic, whatever is on your mind. Had an interesting call here earlier, which I get back to. Let me go back to the phones. Good morning, welcome.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Lyons.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am well.
Yeah, it's not a matter of a topic for me, but I want to know whether it's the Labor Department or the Social Security. Somehow this social levy wanted to take out people's money. I don't understand that here. I could see the Social Security, but the social levy thing, it's a problem for me. I mean, where the money going, who gets it, or what? So many people get somebody as a program for one or two department to do some elaboration on top of it.
Okay.
And also, I want to wish all the mothers about there, happy Mother's Day when you come. And if a father's out there with his mothers too, you know.
That's right.
Because I am one of them. Because my daughter, she mother dead when she 10. And now she's 22. And I do all the best to bring her through there.
Good for you.
Went to college, everything, and get she diploma in culinary arts, everything. So, if a father's out there, you know.
That's right.
Yeah, my boy.
Okay, thanks. Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Good morning, Mr. Nez.
Good morning.
So appreciate what Jacqueline said, because that is a good idea. I don't know, we need to stop. Let these people coming through here right now. The country have problem, we have problem too. Because, you know, right now, we're not a smart, stealing or going smartly. And nobody going to be no who doing it unless you have somebody to come right by your house. Checking out people who, what do you call it? It's alleged. I must say it's alleged, taking out people, they radio up the cars and so on. When you look, they're going to go and sell it for $50 when it costs over $500 or maybe $1,000. So I think, Mr. Prime Minister, you need to get the step, put down your foot, and you're a nice man, but you still need to step down on things. You can't let people come and overrun the country, especially in this time when things just stop like that. The pandemic knock out everything, and we got to see for our people who in down here, they let it stay in. Every weekend, plane coming from this way, that way. Only if they're coming for a vacation or 2 weeks and they go back home where they're from, and only if they're coming, where you always got this meeting, the Caribbean meeting, OECS meeting, only for that. We got to stop playing careless. Because in St. Martin, you know, Mr. Noyes, I see that, you know, people got to run out of their house early 4 o'clock in the morning. I know, make sure you heard about that when you were a young man. Just to get away from immigration is what Kittishan, Nibijon, Antigua, and Jamaica where they was. And we, especially Kittishan and Nibijon, get a lot of it, make sure that my people migrate to St. Thomas and to Torrance afterwards. So we need to step down and eat. Stop playing nice boy. Yeah, we have anything, the government want anything, and you could help them with a little change, and we could afford it to give them what's coming. It's a no, because everybody going to be crying out soon. The other day, it's alleged again, somebody went and robbed somebody and beat up the lady and all, and that ain't nice. So I could be here sleeping, me one. I ain't expect this, and this thing happened to me. So we need to look down to it, and I'm agree with what the gentleman said. He talked about it last night, and it's good. Let us tell our country not smart when the Chinese, they come taking our business, doing this grocery, right? And they're breaking down the price sometimes from what the bigger grocery have. And we're going to them, and when we just say, oh, they're inferior, the things inferior, because some of them may read the label. and we get those inferior stuff. And so what Jacqueline saying is right, and I feel we should look through it. Mr. Prime Minister, I know you're trying to help, but and people are getting the $500 just like that day from me. You could imagine somebody in the line and talk about, a stranger. Oh, I'm going to say if $500 come down, mind you. I ain't say you ain't supposed to get a little help, you know, but if you put in a lot in the country, and I like how the man just asked the question, where the money does go, because I believe that's supposed to help build houses. You know, so when somebody telling me that the government help me build my house, I say, miss, I used to pay social levy. When I hire somebody, I have to pay the social security money, take me up to $306 and so. I had my levy was in that, my house money was in that. You have a good day, Mr. Myers.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Myers. I want to comment on a comment you made about the Chinese, because the impression I was getting that you seem to be saying that there are two sets of different people. Is that what you're saying?
I am saying, and I'll say it again, the vast majority of the people coming from mainland China that you see here are opening supermarkets and restaurants and apartments. The Taiwanese that are here, whom we have a relationship with, diplomatic relationship, are more involved in infrastructure development aid for us.
No, are you saying the Taiwanese are not Chinese? Because they are Chinese.
Yes, they are. But I'm sure most people understand what I just said. So continue.
Well, I don't share the comment, you know, because
that's why you're free to have your own. You're free to have your own. Go ahead.
You know. And to the caller who talk about the Taiwanese bringing factories there, I mean, do you think they're going to leave Taiwan and open a factory here? We pay more for our than Taiwan, so that is not going to happen. The area there at the world is basically cheap labor. They're not going to come down here and pay nobody $9 an hour to make a part for one. And they could get it in the country for far less than that. So I think he needs to wheel and come again. That is not going to happen. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Again, the Republic of China, Taiwan, sorry. We have a relationship with Taiwan. All right. Other people have a relationship with mainland China. Okay? It's not to say that they're not Chinese. There are two different relationships in this region. Some do have a relationship with mainland China. It's not to say they're not Chinese. Nobody said that. Okay? All right. We got a caller? Okay. But there is a difference in terms of diplomatic relations. And St. Kitts has chosen since 1983 to have their diplomatic relations with Taiwan. Okay, back to the phones. Good morning, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Nyers.
Yes.
I don't really want no back and forth with anybody. And
Okay.
my opinion is my opinion. But don't we control? When I say we're talking about the government control what goes on in our country.
Yeah, I would think so. Go ahead.
Right. So when the Chinese come here and set up supermarket, it's not because we allow them to set up supermarket and restaurants and stuff like that. So if we tell them, if they come and they want to do supermarket, and we tell them, no, we are not looking for any supermarket businesses. We are going to, or yes, you could do that, but if you want 5 supermarkets, we cannot give you 5 supermarkets. We could give you 2, and you could, as long as you're going to do this for us, you're going to have other businesses like factories and stuff. then you could be allowed to set up your supermarket. Don't tell me about oh, they're doing cheap labor up there. Well, they might be doing cheap labor there, yes, but why you think they're coming outside of China to do things here? The supermarket is cheap labor down here. The restaurants are cheap labor down here. They're coming out from there because they want to branch out outside of China to do other businesses. But the Chinese are choosing their businesses that they want to do outside of China. But the countries could decide what business we want. If we don't want no supermarket or we don't want you to come here and do supermarket, you can't come and do a supermarket or restaurant or rental business in terms of apartments. If we don't want that. But it's because we allow them to do that, why they are doing it. But if we say we have to have a balance. You could get supermarkets, you could get restaurants, you could get apartment stuff, but we need other stuff that we need other businesses that are going to bring money into the country, not business that you're going to set up that is just going to generate money in the country from our people who bring money in the country. You set up a business that is going to bring money in our country too, not just supermarkets. That is my thing. Not nothing more cheap labor. Whether it's cheap or expensive labor, you bring your stuff here too. Thank you, Noy.
Okay, thank you. Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes, Mr. Nyas, it's true because I had a cousin who used to work over the Port and they want to pay the minimum wage thing here. They want to give you on down. She and them had it out and all when come to the social. They didn't want to pay that. They put it in. And I know a factory here. And one day I went to it to pick up something for a girlfriend. And I asked, well, what is this and what is that? This person said me, only 3 days a week that I give us, because they didn't want to pay what the government said. They didn't want to give the minimum wage. So we have people here that does it. And it's trying to people them just say the people as well. Like you say, when you got the only one person from here work there also, one person from here. Yes, they will get nearly 5, 6, 7 of their own people working. But you see, I don't know what else is behind it. Nobody will just call in and talk about it and not rectify. So, because you go in a country, you go in your country, go home business. I think I should employ your people. Sometimes I don't know, let's say they're bringing in people like, this load of container, canton to canton this, so I'm going to bring in 6, 7 people from nearby other country. That is not right. Give us the job. We appreciate you. We're coming into you, by you, spending our money. Give us the job. Give us a job too. But it's so you go. I don't know how they get away with it, but they really get away with it for sure. Okay.
Okay. Back to the phones. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I want to agree with that lady who spoke, and I think she spoke before, and another lady and a gentleman. And I think our government here has to be very watchful. And I am very happy that we have our residents speaking up, because it's becoming very glaring. It's not to say you're banning persons from coming here, but government has to exercise the sovereignty that we claim that we have. And there must be some measure of control and looking at how the dynamics are unfolding. We are a country, 68 square miles for St. Kitts, 30-something for Nevis, and a population here just about 40,000 or thereabout. People are coming from other countries much bigger, and if you let the flow go at the rate it is going in some cases, you will be overwhelmed. In about 5-10 years' time, we will be surprised of what is happening here. Secondly, the point that was made about the type of businesses. When you have persons coming in to displace, that's what it is doing, displace local businesses. So everybody has to work for them, which is exactly what Batch and all of those vanguards did earlier, to try to make us be part and to control and to have ownership here, not to be given over the ownership, ceding things to other persons. Because even land is going to be priced out soon, out of the hands of our local people. And the gentleman who spoke about the type of businesses, government can control that. I lived in a place in Europe for a number of years, and I saw how that government, it was the Swiss government, I saw how they were able to control who could do what in those countries. Somebody, I remember these particular people, they opened a restaurant. They were given license only to have it as a tea service. And when they started selling food, the neighbors, the local people around there, caused them to be closed down. So when we tell ourselves we can't do, our governments think they can't do. They could do. And as the person mentioned, when people come here, there's something attractive about the place that is bringing them here. And so you must continue to keep that attraction, or be able to value, I should say. We should be able to value what it is we have. Not just give it away and say everybody must come, all who can, who will may come. And the person who spoke about even the, as more come in, and we have the COVID situation, government is having to give everybody. Now, we migrate to other places, yes, but we have to stand in line. And you don't get everything up front just like everybody else. You have to wait for years. And so we need to see what others do abroad that would keep things under control. And pick on the good things and make sure our people come first. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and Queen Enzing. God bless you, my beloved African brother. How are you, the family?
We're all doing well, doing well. What about you?
Good, man, and the clan is good. No, beloved, I'm going to continue from yesterday, Pan-Africanism. But let me say before I do that, beloved, I only hear, our people got to get, most of our people got to get things right. It's only when African people from other places coming in to St. Kitts Nevis, you hear all kind of nonsense, beloved. My thing is, beloved brother, my philosophy is Africans who are born in St. Kitts Nevis must come first and foremost. But in saying that, we should not make our brothers and sisters, African brothers and sisters who are born in other places, second-class citizen. I don't hear that kind of thing when it comes to Caucasian, Chinese, Indians, et al. But anytime our people from other places is all kinds of booha, and we got to stop the foolishness and backwardness and self-hate. Now let me move down to Pan-Africanism. Beloved, in our race, beloved, got to be more unity, more love, beloved brother, care for each other, respect, and trust, beloved. We must do that. We must develop Africa and in diaspora, and we must control all forms of economic activities. There in St. Kitts Nevis, beloved, all over where we supposed to control manufacturing, all kind of things, sciences, technology and everything, beloved. We must do that, beloved. And, brother, those traitors in the race, the African race, man, we must keep them apart, beloved. We must weed them out, and they must be persona non grata. You know Latin, but for those who don't know, beloved, they should not be welcome among us. No traitors of the African race, beloved, must not be welcome among us. And Caucasians and all the others, they must leave us alone, and we must ensure they must leave us alone. Stop murdering our leaders and stop undermining our growth, beloved. Must leave us alone. Let us do what we have to do for us, and we must ensure that by any legal means necessary, beloved. This nonsense is just retarding our growth, and we return to our traditional greatnesses and go beyond that our great African ancestors built and left for us. The black print is there still, and we must honor and that upgrade that, beloved. It got us Swahili, Kiswahili, same thing is African, which you know, beloved. But for those who don't, it's African. It's an African language that is spoken in a lot of East African countries, beloved. And it got a word, Sankofa, which means we got to return to the past in order to move forward. But we ain't got to be stuck in the past, beloved. We just add on that, beloved, that our great ancestors gave us, and the black print is still there. We add on to that and just come up to where we are today. All phases of life and stop depending. We must be self-reliant, self-sufficient, and stop depending on other races and depend on ourselves. Brother, I know someone else wants to speak. Oh, before I do that, let me say Happy Mother's Day to all African mothers, and every day is Mother's Day, my beloved sisters. And you are the creators of civilization. When I say civilization, you give birth to every other race. My knew from the African woman, Akanash, who Caucasian called Lucy. Everybody come from African woman. So let me give praise and thanks to the African woman, beloved brother. Happy Mother's Day, my beloved sister. Pan-Africanism, our purge. One love, my beloved brother.
Okay, thank you. Back to the phones. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Nayas.
Good morning, sir.
I say ashe to the last caller there in terms of putting perspective as to our African women. Mm-hmm. It is unscientific for anybody to be born from some rib. We have to get rid of that narrative and really put our African woman in her rightful place. Who gave birth to our life. Even from the cosmic waters of what they call Noah, which was Nun, where what emanated from that cosmic water? What was the first element? The sun. Sun being symbolic of a child. Yes. Our narrative is enshrined, encoded, enshrouded in some metaphor of what we have in the Bible. So much for that, Mr. Nayas. I was reliably informed yesterday of your program by a friend of mine. And so I went back on YouTube and I listened. And I agree with some of the sentiments of some of your callers that say that in order to do justice on such a gigantic topic, you need to ask your superiors in the studio, in the station, to allow you to have an episode series, like from the Monday to Friday, and then do more justice to it. Because, Mr. Nayas, between yourself and myself, for you to just give us a little appetizer like that, and with joy, it's like you're preparing, you're taking someone out for lunch, or dinner, and then only presenting them with a glass of water, and then, that's it, so to speak. So, yes, it's all good that you raised it. I kind of laud you for raising such a topic, timely as it is. And I even beg to defer that, the African, Pan-African aspect of the movement are dying. Because under the surface, there are so many, programs that has been set up in a few years, and that is really giving credence to it. And so, yes, you need to talk to your superiors and get more time. Because there's so many. It's such a topic that we need to give justice to it. Because some of us, and Mr. Nice, I might say that, I have seen confessions from a few tribal leaders that got involved with it like second nature. But we're not even touching on the Inquisition that gave credence to it. And then the word slave, it just come over from what would have happened amongst our people in terms of captive, ransom captive, because of tribal dispute with different kingdoms. Yes, those things has happened. But, it's only men confess to atrocities and wrongs. And I can allow the tribal leaders in certain African nations, like the Igbo king and the other kings, not all, but at least some of them has come forward, as opposed to those, because corruption, when we speak of corruption, it's a two-way street. And so you have corruption on this side of the aisle, and you have corruption on the other side of the aisle. And if some who are corrupted on that side of the aisle, whatever atrocities they have created and they got convicted for, there needs to be convictions on the other side of the aisle. I say that to say that we are seeing confessions from tribal leaders that was pushed and got caught up in something that that was so enormous beyond their norms of dispute amongst themselves, and then you will have captives, and then whatsoever the reward might be, whatever justifying all of that, because of conflicts always arise amongst our people.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
So you need to give more justice to this thing. And you ever heard about the confession of an economic hitman?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, there's a video out that speaks specifically from the hierarchy, from the intellectual professors that say, this is the way Africa must be. Africa must be kept this way.
All right, gotta go.
Because if Africa is not kept this way, Europe will not thrive and survive.
Okay, gotta go to the next call. Thank you.
Listening.
Thank you. Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
No,
yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You going back Africa? We nation got to come from somewhere about we poor people, we black people, mother, father, and thing, mother, and so we black. But there are things they call Bukawarama doing for a gang a bit. But the way how we see them do children, selling, taking them from school, taking them from all about. And Mr. Wells was talking about the different parts of Africa, because it's a continent with many different places. But all them places call the majority of people who lead them black people.
Wow.
So white man still do what they like from when. Every time I stop from school and I hear about Africa, and when a little boy coming up, Africa is the same thing up to now. Very better than before. Which one is the worst, now or before? So it's better. I understand what's going on, because me never talk about Africa straight long, and our black people lead black people. In majority me show in Africa, I lead black people Africa, and black are kill black catch black for white people, black are do all kind of things. That's when we Caribbean. When they come to training them, me hear man say they bad boy a whole heap of land. We hotel them in land. Any black people, me show the black people what is the leader. Any ordinary people are selling land, because they not got no land to sell. They say Africa got everything. One part, anyhow we phone now we talking pan. Me here come from Africa. Africa got all kind of things there. But it's still poor, just like Haiti. First place who went independent, who had all their money. How much money Haiti don't get from all about as grand? When they had earthquake, hurricane and all kind of something. It's just the leaders them. Just the leaders them. Ain't no white man, the black people, and that's what they like. Look down here, in the Caribbean, black man, that's what they like. How much them are going to take up a politician and put in politician? Because they don't be doing as they like. That's all the problem. And the world is not going to change. Because look when man and Peter tells them to sing. Bowler one thing. And what's going on in the world. Look where people in Jamaica sing to them when Martin and pray with it. No gun. Beautiful man. Mutabaruka says in the square. And the woman and young people truly like it. Even them are cussing at their staff. Of course, most of them are cuss. And then we don't hear them on radio. All in a car in a bus. Man turn up hard. Man used to get sparrow. Chart truck and all them that play in a car. And man, them will not hear much of them kind of thing. The world is a change. The world changing. Africa them not got no better. Caribbean not get no better. America not get no better. What killing them? I'm talking about white people that kill black in America. And black are kill black too. White are kill white, black are kill black. We don't know if we can stop this now, yeah? Or it's already there.
Okay. All right, and speaking of that list that was read out yesterday, there were some errors in there, but we were running out of time, but some countries were listed that really were not part of it. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning, welcome. Good morning, caller. You're live. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. I'm on?
Yes, you are. And you're live.
Oh, okay. With regards to the views expressed that we should walk back our open immigration policies and renege on the agreements that we have already signed, I think that would be unfortunate, right? Even in this situation brought about by COVID, right? When times are tough, we always seem to fall back on these positions, okay, of going after immigrants. We have to remember that immigrants, they don't come to places where there are no opportunities, you know. Mm-hmm. If they come and there are no opportunities, most likely they'll go elsewhere, right? They're not going to come here to just sit down and do nothing. They came, most of them came, left their families and wherever they came from in search of a better way of life, to help their families back home, to improve themselves. Okay, and it makes no sense you just come into a place to just come and lie, right? I would hope that it is not a walkover to access jobs and social programs in the country that they choose to come. Mm-hmm. Okay? If that is so, then the government and its departments are at fault. Okay? Nobody, no immigrant should be able to just come and get PEP, go on PEP, or get the $500, or the PAP, and other social programs. It should not happen. Okay, and I don't think it happens in any. I doubt it happens really, because in order to do that, you have to have. I would think that you have to have some kind of documentation, some registration, whether it be work permit or social security card or something to say that you're a bona fide resident here. Okay, so we don't have to be bothering about the people coming in at this time, right? Controlled immigration is good, right? You know the benefits of it, bringing in people who have skills or who want to do jobs mm-hmm. that local people don't want. I mean, that's not a bad thing, okay? And so rather than concentrate on bashing immigrants who come in, or discriminating against them, I heard, for instance, that you have to, you have to be vaccinated, or if you don't vaccinate, then you can't get your work permit renewed and those sorts of things. To me, that's kind of discriminatory and shouldn't happen. Okay, but these kinds of pressures I don't think is necessary, because I don't think we've reached the scale where we're overwhelmed. Of course, we have to control immigration because we're small and can be overwhelmed easy. But I think we're far away from that. Okay, then. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Okay. A whole lot to unpack here this morning when it comes to our Open Friday and the different ideas and comments and so on. And that last caller was alluding to what the very first caller raised when she mentioned that in these times we should hold up on free movement of people, and making the case that in these times, these are tough times, coronavirus times, we're stretched, and her argument was that under those conditions, then maybe we should ease up on the free movement of people policy, or well, which comes out of CARICOM and CSME and all of that. Maybe we should, I guess she's saying that we should suspend it for a while. I think that's the point she was trying to make. On the other hand, other callers disagree with that point of view, which is fine. That's kind of what we like to do here on Frank and Candid. We had a caller that spoke to tourism and diversification, which we know we talk about here many times at different times on this program. And there are suggestions out there about how you come back stronger. They say, build back. Or how you improve on the industry that we have. And an improvement in the industry could also mean could benefit from diversification in that I heard somebody mention creating a marriage between agriculture or farming and tourism, and went on to build the point, build the argument that if we're getting tourist ships coming into the country, the question was, why don't the farmers have that as an outlet to provide farm goods? Why don't they ship? Because the ships do have to restock. And whether it is that they restock with tomatoes, lettuce, what have you, that's one way of creating that marriage that the person was talking about. I don't know how many people know that at some point we tourists used to restock, if I can put it that way, here in St. Kitts, the ships with water, our water. So just like they did that, I don't know if they still do that, but I think they used to do that at one time, or it has been done. This person was talking about if they need to restock, they could restock. There could be a way to restock here if the supply is there. That's always the key. If the supply is there. If the supply is not there and it's not consistent and reliable, as we talked about before with other people in business who are looking for them to, they don't mind going local, but their argument is that the local sometimes is not reliable, and they have contractual obligations to people that they may supply. And if a farmer is going to tell them that, oh, boy, I don't have any tomato this week, it becomes a situation where you're putting that person's business in jeopardy. But the idea is good. So anyway, let's go back to the phones. Good morning, welcome.
Yes, Brother Nias again with me. Look here, we got big jobs here, and they go into other places which that wouldn't happen to us. You can't go Barbados and get this job like somebody like in our tourist industry, and there's a big person in it getting big money, still allowance, and all them deal. And it's not looking good kind of somebody who could have handled the job, A nice little good friend of mine, and should have she gone and divert somewhere and gone to work because she really had a hope to get a job. But in Nabu, we are this African way and bashing about it, but remember we only a tiny island, and nearly all the breakfast where you left. Like St. Paul, going back west, fall down and nobody plant them back. One or two breadfruit tree around. So we ain't got much to live on, and potato ground ain't hot like before, and yam ground. We got to look for ourselves. Without tomorrow, no food in the country. We got ground food, but maybe no grains coming in like outside things and so. And what we gonna do? No milk can't come here, and we ain't had a lot of cattle like before. Cows and all them they like before, and goats and all them they took us. So brother Nabu, we got to look out at St. Martin, we also got problem. People got here 4 o'clock and people got to run out and go in water and so. I've been told them same people the age of me right now, they put their feet hurt them from that. Nobody said we shouldn't, well, nobody other country we just remember they did say that we're gonna be like a sucking at the breast, because they had the backside and they had this and they had that selling to the United States. They tell us so in the 60s. That was make way and all we had sugar cane. I don't know how each one could help one. They tell Mr. Brother so in a meeting. And that's why we just pull up from out our roots. So we ain't really bashing the African, all always African, but remember you say you got to look for your household before you start to look for somebody else. So Mr. Prime Minister, you're a good man, but step down on these things. We got to look out. Every day you see different face in the place you want to know where they come from. The next thing I don't like, nobody had check on immigration. I hear a taximan ask a lady passing down there a month or so, Miss, who is this for the immigration? I said the girl just keep straight. She can't make an answer. And she walking up there. We need to put our house in order, brother Nabu, and don't talk no nonsense. Kind of breadfruit tree here much like before. And young people right now on the breadfruit, that tell the KFC and Domino's and all kind of other places. So we got to look out. When they come, send them back a week or two, then we go look for them. They used to look for us.
Okay.
Hear people cry to me, say the Lord, they just tremble when they see the immigration coming. And let me tell you, I'm going to Mr. Myers in St. Thomas. I hear in long term when you go there. As they say, you're here on the beach, you see you run over from them. So he went in the time there, so he ain't about that. And all in St. Martin, you know about that in St. Martin in the French side.
Okay.
Friday,
all right.
they won't pay you.
Running out of time. Want to get you in this one caller.
Yeah.
Last caller. Let's get this in. Good morning. Go ahead. Final caller.
Good morning, Tony.
Hey, what's up?
Yes, this is Jam down here.
Mm-hmm.
Tony, I know that tourist season at some time we was going to experience some problem. But once you see you ain't got no vision, this is where you're going to go. Tony, Station Sabre, St. Bart, St. Martin. We got market down there for our agriculture planters them. We have a market.
Okay.
And the government got to invest in a boat with storage. We could collect from all these people, set it up like the market, like Simaco. Where the market bring the supplies, you got people checking the good ones, and then you ship them out on the boat a week and get them down there and make money. Government buy them from these people. Why you want that?
Uh-oh. All right. I think my boy jammed on this. Must be run out of money though. Okay, it's Friday. So have a good rest of the day there, Jam Down. Thank you all for your calls, your comments, suggestions, and that's okay. We all don't have to agree here on Frank and Candid. It's the end of the week. Thank you all, and we'll be back next week with much more topics and discussions. I'm Tony Nias. Have a great weekend. Don't forget the mothers. See you next week.